All right, Oklahoma didn't just beat Alabama 24-3. They dominated them. But to quote Josh Pate, Brent Venables had Jalen Milroe in hell last night. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, you watched that game from Oklahoma from start to finish, and you can't be amazed by what you saw because that is the best this Oklahoma team has played all year long. You heard that right. From start to finish, this Oklahoma played a game of consistency. They executed outside of the past Bauer Sharp, and they just believed in themselves, and they continued to do what worked. And that's been, I think, one of the biggest problems for Oklahoma this season. So today we got to talk about this dominating performance. Oklahoma beats Alabama 24-3. And even at the beginning of the season, when we thought Oklahoma's offense was going to be really, really good, obviously we thought Oklahoma's defense was going to be good. We did not think Oklahoma was going to beat Alabama like this. We didn't think Oklahoma was going to have a performance like this. But here we are. And we got to start with the offensive side of the ball. And we got to talk about what it looked like for Jackson Arnold and Xavier Robinson, because it was pretty well just ran for those two. Before we do that, though, as always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in every single day. It's because of you guys I'm able to post these videos. I want to be able to do these videos because you guys are in the comments. You guys are chatting with me. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. I want you guys to be a part of it here because we're going to have a busy off season with recruiting, with the transfer portal, and I want you guys to be up to date with what we have going on. But we got to focus our attention here now to the offensive side of the ball and what Jackson Arnold did for this offense yesterday, right? This is one of Jackson Arnold's best games for Oklahoma, and he didn't even pass the ball that much. He had 9 out of 11 in the passing game for 68 yards, no touchdowns. Yet, I'm going to tell you this was one of his best games of the year because he rushed for 25 carries, 131 yards, averaged 5.2 yards a carry. Jackson Arnold really showed us what kind of threat he could be with his legs. And this is what Alabama wanted to do, right? Alabama wanted to come in and have their quarterback be able to run the ball and, also he's going to throw the ball to Ryan Williams and stuff like that. But like what we did with Arnold is what Alabama wanted to do, and we shut it down. But then we were able to execute it on the offensive side of the ball because we're going to have to talk about the offensive line here in a second. They played phenomenal. They allowed Jackson Arnold and Xavier Robinson to have big nights. So you look at Xavier Robinson, 18 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You have found something in a true freshman running back, a kid from Yukon, Oklahoma, homegrown, 6 foot, 225, right? This was a guy nobody could stop. And now, this is also a guy that you look at and you're like, where the hell has he been all season? Why is this really the first time that we're seeing this kid for a full game? I mean, obviously, you saw him towards the end of the Missouri game, and everybody asked the same question. But Xavier Robinson was a guy that he could catch it out of the backfield for you. 4 receptions, 20 yards. And he's been like that all season. But then he's a guy that the defense really had no answers for. The defense couldn't stop him. And the thing is, it's not that Oklahoma had a really balanced attack in terms of the pass and the run game. No, you knew what Oklahoma was going to do. They ran the ball last night 49 times. You knew what Oklahoma was going to do all night long. And Alabama still couldn't stop it. Not to mention, Oklahoma did what we've asked them to do all year long on the offensive side of the ball. Control your time of possession. That's all we've asked. Oklahoma outgained Alabama in time possession, 34 minutes to 25 minutes. This is how you win football games with a Brent Venables defense. Keep your defense on the sidelines. Let them get a rest, right? So that they stay healthy, they stay fresh, they stay ready to go, right? Try to win the time of possession by 10 minutes. This is why I think a lot of people really want Joe Craddock as the offensive coordinator, because this is what he's really good at Tulane. He's really good at controlling the time of possession, controlling the offense, right? Keeping that offense out on the field, keeping the opponent's defense on the field, which ultimately tires out the opponent's defense. But Oklahoma in this game, offensively, you couldn't have asked for a better performance. 7-15 on third down, 1-on-1 on fourth down. Casey Thompson finally got his moment. He got to come into the game, and he got to kneel the ball out. It was an incredible moment for Oklahoma. This was the performance that you needed to really give you some confidence going at the end of the season. You get yourself bowl eligible. This is all we could have asked for. This is all any Oklahoma fan have wanted. And on the offensive side of the ball, I think Joe John Finley and Kevin Johns called a really good game. And a shout out to Jake in our Discord. He pointed this out this morning, or well, I think it was last night. But he said, what did the offensive performance remind you of for Oklahoma? And I was like, well, is it Army? Like, some people might say the wishbone. And he's like, no, close. And I think he was alluding to Army. But he said Duke with Riley Leonard. Because, yeah, this was their game plan sometimes. And so Kevin Johns was probably a huge part in scheming up this offensive game plan for Oklahoma. And you couldn't have asked anymore. Although we've ripped Joe John Finley, and we're still going to rip him because he didn't land Nate Roberts, who's an in-state prospect. They called one hell of a game last night, and they deserve the credit for it. And, it wouldn't shock me to see Kevin Johns get an offensive coordinator job this offseason. I think he was a guy that was potentially going to be looked at by some other team. I'm thinking maybe Florida State. But Kevin Johns might get a job offer. You might lose him this offseason, which you have to be okay with that. Now, you're looking at this game, though, for Oklahoma, right? And you're looking at it on the offensive side of the ball, and you're looking at it. And, one of the good things I think you could take away is that play that we saw where Arnold threw that pass out to Thompson, and you saw Bauer Sharp kind of slip between those two defenders as they were kind of pushing up towards Thompson. What a fantastic trick play. Bauer Sharp just has to execute better on that, but I want to see more of that. I think that works. If you can execute it against Alabama, you can execute that against LSU and 100% in your bowl game when you're going to have 15 more practices to really get ready. So overall, offensively, I thought it was a great game. I thought Oklahoma executed well. I thought they did what they knew they could do well, and they didn't run away from it. But now we got to talk about the defensive side of the ball. And this is where we're going to have some fun, because you couldn't have asked Oklahoma to play better on defense. And they had 24 guys play in this game on defense. But your young guys really showed you something in this game. Kip Lewis was your best defensive player last night, and he had that pick six. Kip Lewis won you this game. He put the game out of reach for Alabama, because at that point when it became 24-3, it did not feel good for Oklahoma. And so I'm looking at it, and I want to point to one guy last night that played one hell of a game. He earned himself a starting spot, and he earned all of the haters and the doubters to shut up. And that's Eli Bowen. And I get it. Oklahoma fans are tired of recruiting small corners. He's 5'9", 186 pounds. I get it. There's a reason why we talked about this kid coming out of high school as a lockdown corner. Nobody wanted to throw to his side of the field in high school. In all season, he's been one of your best coverage corners. He's been one of your best tacklers, and he played by far his best game last night. 78.5 tackling grade, 69.9 coverage grade, 72.4 run defensive grade. He shadowed Ryan Williams all night long, played in 63 snaps for Oklahoma last night, and Eli Bowen was up to the challenge. Obviously, Ryan Williams still made some plays, whether they counted or not, because he had that touchdown in the end zone that got called back. Whether you think it was a bad call or not, I actually think it was a decent call, because it was kind of an ineligible play. Like, it was like you didn't have anybody on the left side. Ryan Williams was the only guy on the line of scrimmage. Like, I think it was a good call. Maybe you could have called it a different way, maybe called a different penalty. It was the right call, but it was one hell of a catch by Ryan Williams. And Ryan Williams had two other ones in that game. Remember the first touchdown that he got that ended up not counting because he stepped out of bounds. That was a hell of a catch. Then he had that other catch that was almost inbounds that he caught on the sidelines. And you just can't ask for any more against Ryan Williams. Like, Eli Bowen played lockdown coverage on him. He shadowed him all night long. And Eli Bowen, I mean, guys, he's going to be a starting corner next year for Oklahoma. And he's going to be one of the best corners by the time he leaves college football, if not the best corner in college football. That's what Eli Bowen's going to be. But again, I look at the future of this defense, and I look at guys like Sammy Omosigho last night, or Lewis Carter, who got in there as well, Kip Lewis. You saw, although when you go look at the PFF grades, you know, you see Kobe McKenzie, and you're like, okay, well, his grades aren't great. Kobe McKenzie has been calling these plays for Oklahoma on defense. He's had the green dot on his helmet, and I think it's encouraging to see, you know, Kobe McKenzie kind of take that lead of Danny Stutzman and kind of do what he's been able to do all year. Dominic Williams had a really good night. Dejon Terry had his best night, probably his best career night ever. Like, he put things on film, and this is the thing. This is the game that scouts are going to go watch. They're not going to go watch Temple. They're not going to go watch, you know, you play Missouri State, or I think next year we play Illinois State. They're not going to watch those games. They watch this game against Alabama. How do you play against other future NFL talent? And Oklahoma was up to the challenge all night long on defense. And so I looked at it and I saw Peyton Bowen. I saw, you know, it was great to see Woody Washington get that interception off that batted pass at the end of the game. I mean, just multiple, like you look up and down the board and you see how well the defense played. Like, you are happy with this performance if you were an Oklahoma fan. You are happy. You are excited because this is the future of Oklahoma football. And this defense next year could be better than it was this year. But you get 3 turnovers. That's the other thing. Oklahoma fans were like, well, we're not getting turnovers this year, right? Well, the thing is, when you're playing from behind, the opposing team, when they have the lead, they don't have to take risks. This game, Alabama had to take risks, and Brent Venables' defense could play aggressive. And they showed it. 3 interceptions. I think Eli Bowen had one, you had Kip Lewis had one, and then Woody Washington had one. Like, that is what Oklahoma fans want to see. This was the Brent Venables defense we all envisioned when he came back to the University of Oklahoma. And you all got it. You got it for these big moments. You got it for these kind of games. So, overall, the players executed last night. The game plan was flawless. And you got the upset. This was no fluke. This game last night was not a fluke. You came in there, you lined up on the other side of Alabama, and you beat the hell out of them. You moved them on the line of scrimmage. You played bigger than Alabama. And again, if you're an Oklahoma fan, that's all you could ask. So, guys, if you guys have not already, you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button, join the discussion below. We're going to be breaking this down all week. We're going to have some Alabama guys on, so make sure you guys subscribe so that you guys can tune into that content. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about Oklahoma's dominating performance over Alabama, 24-3.